Published 1910 EDT, the 3rd of October 2017. Updated 0248 EDT, the 4th of October 2017. Dr. Foster had an unexpected twist but still finished as we should have known it would do, with a disappointing, confusing finale that was not really an ending at all. Exactly like the first series, in other words, right down to another implausible, excruciating meal. Having spent the previous 4 episodes watching Gemma and Simon trying to destroy each other, what we thought was a tale of ruthless revenge veered off track into something approaching soppy reconciliation. Scroll down for video all over. Dr. Foster had an unexpected twist but still finished as we should have known it would do, with a disappointing, confusing finale that was not really an ending at all. Our own lust for justice and our bloodlust once again remained unsatiated. After several menacing, promising exchanges with Gemma and Simon threatening to kill each other through various means, stabbing, choking, using scissors or syringes, the heroine and her nemesis, our enemy, both survived. Gemma let Simon off again. In 2015 she had let him toddle off to London with his mistress. This time she stepped up and saved his life twice. Empty threats. After several menacing, promising exchanges with Gemma and Simon threatening to kill each other through various means, stabbing, choking, using scissors or syringes, the heroine and her nemesis, our enemy, both survive. As the saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The real twist left viewers as stunned as Dr. Foster herself. What you thought was the fight was merely the warning, as she put it. The denouement was not about who would come out on top between Gemma and Simon at all, but about their son Tom. Loved one. The denouement was not about who would come out on top between Gemma and Simon at all, but about their son Tom. The poor kid had had enough of them both, and you could hardly blame him. This time he was the one who ended up leaving them both, disappearing, presumably so that Gemma and Simon could look for him. Perhaps it was only fitting that the Dr. Foster finale left us with a feeling of confusion about what Gemma had really done and why, and how we really felt about the end. On the one hand, Tom wasn't dead as it looked as if he might be, but then neither was Simon ditto. Apt conclusion. Perhaps it was only fitting that the Dr. Foster finale left us with a feeling of confusion about what Gemma had really done and why, and how we really felt about the end. Gemma wasn't back with Simon, but you wouldn't necessarily rule it out judging by the tender way they exchanged mementos from their happy past. During the finale, Tom, Simon, and Gemma all said they just wanted an end to it. We knew how they felt. Sadly, you suspect, the misery for all of us will go on for all of us in Series 3. Here are the 10 main things we learned in the finale. Point 1. Gemma had not run over Simon at the end of the previous episode. She sped towards him and turned the steering wheel but checked herself just in time. Pity. Near miss. Gemma had not run over Simon at the end of the previous episode. She sped towards him and turned the steering wheel but checked herself just in time. Pity. Point 2. Gemma was on the verge of getting her old life back. Gemma had taken Tom back to their home, which she had finally cleared out, emptying it of all traces of Simon. The school had left a message saying Tom could return, having won their appeal for being expelled despite raping one of the students. Cian's message confirmed she was going back to her practice. She had a chummy dinner with Roz. Only Anna was not, living across the road in the driveway, glass of wine in hand. You're in the middle of something, her new neighbor said when she came over to introduce herself and her 2 kids, after Gemma and Simon had had yet another domestic, leaving Gemma brandishing a pair of scissors. You could say that, yes. The neighbor might as well get used to it, you thought. She usually is. Back home, Gemma had taken Tom back to their home, which she had finally cleared out, emptying it of all traces of Simon. 3. Gemma was back with James but eventually dumped him again. No one tells me what to do, Gemma blazed when Tom's teacher, her patient, annoyingly told her to stay calm after Simon effectively abducted her son. Gemma chose this as the moment to dump James for once and for all. Hopefully, Tom was right, she told him. I've messed you around time and time again and you just keep on coming back. You like fixing me, the bird with the broken wing. I'm not broken. Sorry, we're not working and it needs to stop. Then she went to look for her son. Point 4. Gemma had manipulated Kate into leaving Simon, probably the way Simon complained about Gemma persuading Kate that he had tried to mold his new bride into being like Gemma suggested that she probably had. Whether Gemma really had bought the cufflinks he wore at their wedding or danced with Simon to Jimmy Cliff, we will never know. Simon certainly sounded convincing, or convinced, when he accused you took her away from me, and it wasn't for any good reason. It was revenge. It made you feel good to win. That's all it was. You suspect Tom knew it too. Are you sure you didn't just want to hurt him, punish him? He asked his mum about driving Kate and Amelie so far out of Simon's life they had moved to France. Gemma denied it, but she basically lied to Tom throughout. Face-to-face, Gemma had cleared the house out, but still wouldn't he just move away and couldn't bear to just let Simon go. 5. Despite everything, Simon and Gemma still couldn't bear to end it. Gemma had cleared the house out, but still wouldn't he just move away and couldn't bear to just let Simon go. How does this end, she asked, having failed to end it by stabbing him with some scissors or just calling the police when he started stalking her and Tom. It ends with us admitting we've both got it wrong and getting back together, Simon told her. We're attracted to each other, so that works. We can be Tom's parents again. When it's just the three of us together, it works. It's what I want. I think you do too. Underneath, unfortunately, you sensed he knew he was right. Point 6. Gemma's parents had been crushed by a lorry when she was 16. Tom knew Gemma's mom and dad had died in a car accident when she was 16, but apart from that, I don't know anything. He didn't even know what jobs they had. For some strange reason, I wanted to know how they actually died, Gemma later told Simon as he was trying to commit suicide. I think that's why I became a doctor. The roof of their car was crushed by a lorry. It would have been utterly terrifying, incredibly painful and not instant. It probably explained a lot about her. In the know, Tom knew Gemma's mom and dad had died in a car accident when she was 16, but apart from that, I don't know anything. 7. Simon had persuaded Tom to leave Gemma and move in with him and Kate by telling their son Gemma had left him on his own as a baby, had postnatal depression. She tried to explain to their son. It didn't occur to me he would tell you about it, because I couldn't imagine the psychology of someone who would do that. Who would hold that against someone? Well, he would, obviously. Point 8. The syringes Gemma had prepared at the end of the first episode were to assist Simon in committing suicide. Follow the instructions, she hissed, having presented him with an alternative to killing himself in front of Tom by walking into the traffic on the motorway. Point 9. Gemma changed her mind about letting Simon go by killing himself or it all. Don't do this, she said, holding Simon's hand and giving him the photos of herself and their son that he used to take with him everywhere. Simon didn't really understand why, when she had only just given him them and driven back, having left him to do it. After everything that had happened during the previous episodes, he had a point. Dramatic. The syringes Gemma had prepared at the end of the first episode were to assist Simon in committing suicide. 10. Tom had got away from them both. No doubt Gemma would always regret driving back to stop Simon. Not because she should have let him die, debatable, but because she left Tom sitting in the car outside the hotel. Not for long though. When she marched back, thinking she had their life all sorted out, Tom had disappeared, even leaving his mobile on the passenger seat. It's fine. It's going to be okay, Gemma had told him, which was what she said in the first episode when they found out Simon and Kate had moved back. It really wasn't. She seemed to have forgotten in last week's show he had confessed to raping his friend Isabel, attacked his best friend Max, and trashed a cafe. He was clearly cracking, and with parents like Gemma and Simon, who could blame him? Awkward. No doubt Gemma would always regret driving back to stop Simon. Not because she should have let him die, debatable, but because she left Tom sitting in the car outside the hotel. Simon pleaded for his help. I suppose she's told you what's happened with Kate and Amelie. I just need someone who understands me. Simon, he's 15, Gemma protested. Shut up, Simon blazed. I was looking after my mom when I was 15. 15 is old. Stop trying to protect him. It doesn't work, does it, Meta? This was certainly true. Tom hadn't been protected from them at all. Bad parenting. Simon had abducted his son and threatened to kill himself under a car. He had heard his estranged hostile parents having hate sex and now sat through the breakfast from hell. Simon had abducted his son, threatened to kill himself under a car. He sat watching his dad drinking Jack Daniels and Coke for breakfast while his mom made her excuses to prepare the syringes for his suicide. I hate myself. I hate what I've done. I hate the entire world. I hope you never feel what I'm feeling now, Simon told Tom. But apart from that, you're okay. As for Gemma, he told her, even though your parents died, you were luckier than me. Not ideal. Did you really think that if Kate left him and he lost the house, had just give up? That was exactly what she thought. Traumatized, Tom thought his mother had wanted him dead when he was young, or worked so hard to be away from him, while his father was either trying to destroy his mom or himself. Dad won't ever stop. You've read stories about dads who can't see their kids. They set their house on fire. He could get a knife. Poor Tom. He thought his mother had wanted him dead when he was young, or worked so hard to be away from him, while his father was either trying to destroy his mom or himself. For weeks Tom had been trying to tell his mother it would be better if he left and that everything in his life was straight, including himself, the same word Simon used about himself. Mom, I'm going, he said in the message he had left on her phone. I was going to move out anyway. I've had enough of Dad and you. I've got no school, no friends left. I hate myself. I just want to start again. Gemma had been so consumed with trying to destroy Simon she hadn't seen what was right in front of her, that she was losing the person she was fighting for all along, or at least had been in the beginning. And after all that, she hadn't even finished Simon off anyway but actually saved him. Talk about dysfunctional.